So here's the deal. People have a lot of negative things to say about people who go on reality TV. And when I see that somebody on reality TV, especially one of my favorites, has done something that could be used as an example of the right thing to do, the smart thing to do, the wise thing to do, if you will, I love to point it out. And my girl Robyn Dixon did something so cool that I have to share with you guys now. The good people at GossipOnThis.com posted an article about a recent episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Let me go ahead and read it to you. Gossip on This posted the article on April 4th of 2017. The writer is Roger Ratchet. That's hilarious. Instead of Roger Rabbit, Roger Ratchet. That's freaking hilarious. That's the best writer's name I've heard all year. Shout out to Roger Ratchet. You're hilarious for that. The article is titled, Robyn Dixon downsizing to a 2-bedroom townhouse on Real Housewives of Potomac is the realest moment in Housewives history. Here's what Roger wrote. While the Real Housewives of Atlanta undoubtedly holds the crown for shadiest group of black women on reality TV. Really? Did Roger really start off the article by saying that? Whoa, Jesus, that's okay. All right, back to the article. While the Real Housewives of Atlanta undoubtedly holds the crown for shadiest group of black women on reality TV, the Real Housewives of Potomac is coming for that peach with their cherry blossoms. But for Robyn Dixon, the so-called quote-unquote ex-wife of former NBA player Juan Dixon, they still live and sleep together. Shout out to Juan, you're a very lucky man. But anyways, shit got really real when her grand old home in Potomac, Maryland was foreclosed on. Usually, when housewives go through financial hardship, they figure out a way to play it off as if it's either a conscious decision to quote downsize or as a temporary setback that they will quickly recover from. Robyn, however, is clearly not one of the pretenses, because homegirl packed her shit up and moved 45 minutes away from Potomac to live in a 2-bedroom townhouse just outside of Baltimore in Hanover, Maryland. Rather than hide her sorry state of affairs and insist that she film away from home, Robyn invited the cameras and the world into her very modest home. When fine ass Giselle, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. I was thinking out loud. When Giselle came over to visit Robyn, the producers couldn't help but highlight just how small Robyn's new house was. Peep the shade. So basically they showed on the screen that it said, like when they showed the outside of her house, it said Hanover, Maryland, 45 miles away, 2 bedrooms. And then the article goes on to say, and for the record, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I don't understand why they had to mention that it's 2 bedrooms. Like, what's wrong with that? But anyways, I'm gonna give my girl Robyn her props when I'm done with this article. We're almost there. And yeah, and things about to get thirsty in here because Robyn's fine as hell. Anyways, and enjoy this tour, very brief tour of the 2-bedroom home, which has her 2 boys crammed in a small bedroom, and Robyn and Juan looking like they're sharing a queen mattress in a cramped quote-unquote master bedroom. First of all, this is a very, very shady article. Like, why are they hating on her? What the hell did Robyn do to you, Mr. Roger Ratchet? I guess you're really living up to your last name. That's very... Shoot, your name should be Roger Petty, Roger Small-Minded, Roger Judgmental, Roger Ridiculous. I mean, what in the world is wrong with this fool? Like, I don't like the language he's using. I'm regretting picking this particular site to use as the article to explain to you guys what happened. I'm really regretting it already. I don't know if I'm going back to the site. I don't like the way he's talking. Anyway, back to the article. Giselle, who happens to call herself a friend of Robyn, held her tongue, but you could see even she was startled by how far Robyn has tumbled financially. He's really pissing me off. I might have to stop reading this. When she pulled up to Robyn's house in her fresh white Range Rover, the disdain on her face looked as if she stepped out into Southeast Washington, D.C. But none of that seemed to faze Robyn, of course, because she's too mature for the foolishness. Why would any of it faze her? I mean, it's freaking Robyn Dixon. Like, anyways, but none of that seemed to faze Robyn, and she was perfectly happy admitting that her financial woes forced her and her quote roommate Juan Dixon. First of all, that's the father of her children. Like, anyways, man, I'm starting to get heated. Quote unquote roommate Juan Dixon to reevaluate and reprioritize their lives. Robyn Dixon can shop at Payless and Target and be okay with it, and that's a good thing for Real Housewives, because we need a few bitches who don't act like their shit doesn't stink. First of all, I've never seen Miss Dixon act like that word at all whatsoever. This is offensive. Like what the hell? But okay, let me just say this. I'm glad I picked this article because it illustrates a great point here. If she wants to live comfortably below her means as opposed to stretching herself, if her and Juan came to the conclusion that that's what they needed to do to survive, and as long as they're doing well and they downsized to make sure that everything is taken care of, I hope that since they're doing that on TV, you have people out here, I'm not going to name any names, but even some of them were some of my favorites, putting themselves through all types of financial stress, trying to buy the biggest house on the block to show off. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching, I'm like, that woman has no young children, no husband, why is she buying that big house? And it's like a competition. It's like these women are competing with each other. And honestly, it's offensive. It's like you want to have all this materialistic stuff so that you can look at somebody and say, look at what I got, and wave it in their face, and invite people over and everything like that and show off. It's like, what's the point? I mean, do you want to make people jealous of you? If so, how old are you? No, forget how old you are. What type of mentality does a person have to think that way about physical possessions, materialistic items? They're idolizing that stuff. Robyn appears to be more practical and level-headed. She said, hey, we can't afford that to have this much at the moment, so let's do the smart thing and downsize. It doesn't mean that they're never going to get back up to where they were, but why take the risk on losing it when you could just let it go and then it could just come back to you? That's very smart. And I wish that more of these people on these shows would look at what she did, be inspired by it, and follow suit, because I see a lot of people that are probably going to fall on their face. There's certain people, I'm not going to name any names, but I'm just saying, if you watch these reality TV shows, you see people trying to have the biggest freaking house on the block, and it's like, what's the point? How many, is your family coming to stay with you? Like, why would you, as a single person, need to have 7 or 8 bedrooms? Why would you need to live in a house that's 6,000 to 7,000 square feet? What is the point? It's just you. So you got this big, empty, lonely house, and then to top it off, you got to furnish it. You got to put all this crap in there, or otherwise you're gonna hear echoes at all times of the day. It's crazy. So you're investing all of this money into, basically, you're not gonna get the money back. You're just putting stuff in the house, just filling it up. No people there to use the things, and it's just sitting there, collecting dust. It's just a big empty house with you and your thoughts. Now, I'm not saying that a person should go live in a box, but there's nothing wrong with the way that she chose to live. Because the same people who judge her and have something stupid to say about this lady are the same people that if she went and stretched herself too far and she lost her big house, they wouldn't do a damn thing for her. They would point, they would ridicule, and they would say, she's stupid. Why was she living above her means? So then when you do the opposite and you do something smart and practical, you make financially wise decisions, then people want to look at you and run their mouths too. It's amazing. It's like you can't win in this world. You can't. No matter what you do. You do too much, and people are going to say something. You do what they don't think is enough for them, and they have something to say about that too. It's her damn life. I'm happy for her. Anyways, I just hope that more people will do the same thing, because there's some people, I'm telling you, if their shows were canceled, I don't know how some of these people would survive, because I'm sitting there, I'm looking at them. Actually, there's some people, I'm not gonna say the names, but I'll just say this: Love and Hip Hop. Think about it. There's some of those people who act like they have so much, and the girls are up in there and the confessional and everything, and they're up there like moving their hand all funny and acting all sassy, stuff like that, like and I'm so rich and so pretty and so fine, and all the men want me, and bitch, and all this other stuff. And I'm looking at these heifers like, if this show did happen to go, like the shows are doing really well right now, like Real Housewives, that franchise is booming. Let me see, Love and Hip Hop is booming, certain franchises. But think about it like this: if the show was canceled, a lot of these people, it's like, what do you do other than being a TV personality. And actually, the show doesn't have to get canceled. What if you get fired from the show? What if something happens? What if the producers come to you and say, you were too boring this season. We think we're going to replace you with somebody else who's younger, or somebody else who, maybe doesn't have as thick of an accent as you, or, somebody who's not quite as ratchet as you, or somebody who's more ratchet, or, you got to a couple arguments this season, but they weren't really heated enough arguments. Like, the arguments didn't get crazy enough for us. We didn't want you to fight, but hey, maybe you could have said the B word a couple more times, or you know what I mean? Like, the producers might say any old crazy thing to you, or you might just get into an argument with the producers. They may want to let you go from the show. And it's like, some of these people have these big houses. They don't have any music out. They're not an actress. They don't have a clothing line. They have no other streams of income. It seems like some of these people, it's like whenever I see them, it's like they're either on Instagram or they're on the show that they're on. That's it. I don't see them anywhere else. Usually don't even see them in interviews. So, yeah, man, it's always best to have some sort of a backup plan, other streams of income. And hey, if push comes to shove and that money is not right compared to the way that you want to live your life, then hey, wait till it comes and then live that way. But anyways, this is all my opinion. Screw anybody who has anything negative to say about this lady. She did something that was very smart, and I hope that some of you heifers and some of you dudes out here that need to tighten up, some of you male heifers, get your stuff together and take a page out of the book of Robyn Dixon, because that was a very wise decision. I commend her, not just because she's fine, but I commend her because, hey, she did what she was supposed to do, and she looked good while doing it. But anyways, I'm a Robyn Dixon fan, so of course I'm going to say that. Let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channels. Visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com for more. Follow me on Twitter at Meat Magazine, Meat Magazine 7 on Google+, Meat Magazine blog on Instagram. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you can get notified when new videos are posted. Shout out to Robyn Dixon. Oh, and anybody who watches the show, let me know in the comment section whether or not her and Juan are still together. Are they just like living together, but they're not really together? I need to know, because I think I might have to slide up in somebody's DMs. Wish me luck.